we have to talk to each other irrespective whether terrorists are dismantled or not. What we have to talk about is, yes, how we can sit together and dismantle these terrorists together. Now, you mentioned some of the attacks in India. You mentioned attack in 1993, you mentioned attack on Mumbai, you mentioned recent attack on the Indian Parliament. Coming back to the Parliament attack in India, now this is very important information. India accused or took 4 people, Indian Muslims, to trial for attack on Indian Parliament in 2001. Out of those 4, interestingly, when they were tried, 3 were just acquitted by the Indian court, not by Pakistan. They were acquitted by the Indian court, and interestingly, only 1 person was given death penalty. And this is very interesting. And I quote from Indian Supreme Court that the person who has been given the death penalty, Indian court's judgment, that no proof that that person belonged to any of the terrorist group. But the collective conscience of the society will not be satisfied if capital punishment is not awarded to the offender. So the courts, in order to pacify the collective conscience, gave capital punishment to this guy. So you arrested 4 people, 3 you could not find anything against them, and 1 you gave capital punishment to them. My point is, Indian Parliament attack, later it was found out, was an indigenous Indian operation carried out by indigenous Indian Muslims. And you have to accept that communalism is a problem of India. India has a lot of minorities. Muslims are the biggest minority in India. 150 million Muslims live in India, and Muslims are the most marginally traumatized segment of the society. You mentioned 1993 attacks. Did you mention why those attacks took place? Because Babri Mosque, a mosque in 1992, it was demolished by Hindu extremists. They said, you know, this place, our temple was supposed to be there, not the mosque. So a mob of thousands of people, RSS, VHP, Bajrang Dal, all those parties, they came together and they brought down the whole mosque. And as a result of which, the riots broke up in India, killing 2,000 people. 2,000 people in Delhi. And this was India's problem. Not anyone from Pakistan sponsored them. Let's talk about Gujarat, 2002. Very disturbing pictures. I could not show them over here. In Gujarat, 2002, the state government sponsored a clinical genocide of the Muslims. 2,000 Muslims were killed in Gujarat in 2002. 100,000 had to leave their homes. 600,000 houses were burned alive. And these are not my statistics. These are not statistics from UN or HNCR, but these are statistics actually from Sarachar report which was submitted in the Indian Parliament by Indians in the Indian Parliament, and they have a Chief Minister of India directly responsible for all the killings which took place in Gujarat in a couple of days. The police, the judges, everyone, they actually coerced, they actually participated in this genocide. So India has to realize there are so many skeletons in India's cupboard. It's not only every attack that takes place from India, it takes from Pakistan. What about the Naxalites? Naxalites are the militant, Maoist, separatist movement. At this point, there are having an active insurgency in 200 out of 600 Indian districts. In fact, Mr. Manmohan Singh, the Prime Minister of India, recently stated that the Maoist movement, the Naxalite movement, is the biggest security threat that India has ever received in its history. Again, it is not coming from Pakistan. It is coming from West Bengal. So my point is that there are so many problems in India, and there are so many problems in Pakistan. Not every attack that takes place in Pakistan, in India, takes place from Pakistan. And even if it does, I repeat, terrorists are a global network. We have to find out a way to fight them. Instead of saying, we are not going to talk with you until you don't dismantle all of the terrorist network, I request you to actually say that, tell us how to dismantle these terrorist networks. We have a confidence between each other. You share your intelligence with us. We share our intelligence with you. In case we have any people you want, or you have any people we want, we can have joint anti-terrorism mechanisms. We can have joint intelligence agencies. We can sit together and decide how to counter this terrorist problem. But blaming Pakistani government or saying that in case there is a war, India would be the winner, we respect India as our neighbor country, as a big super economic power, but we will not be bullied by a big power. We will not take dictation from a big power. We are a nation of 160 million people. We are not going to play a second fiddle to India. This is going to be a brotherly, bilateral relationship. It's not going to be a master-slave relationship. It's going to be a negotiation process. It would not be a dictation.
Atif, is there any commercial value?
Sorry?
So if Kashmir were to belong to Pakistan, what's the commercial value?
The commercial value?
Yeah, like.
So what is the strategy? You mean the strategic value?
Yeah.
Yeah. Water is well, basically it's the water.
It's carrying the water. It is China as well. Because, as I mentioned, 20% of Kashmir is controlled by China. China is a big ally of Pakistan. China also has a stake over there. And then again, there is so much political pressure in Pakistan from the local people on the governments, and vice versa also in India, on the Indian government, from Indian people, that they have so much emotional attachment with it that nobody wants to talk about it. They just want this issue to move on.
Are we in the question and answer part?
Yeah.
So I heard your positions. If you guys now speak as MBA students from RPI, what would you say the real interest is? Water, you said? What is
water is one of the issues.
Is there any other?
Water is a secondary issue. The issue is
Political.
Political, national pride.
And yeah,
Pride. National pride. It's national pride.
It's interesting.
But is there any natural resources or something in
Not
that?
really.
It's also with respect to water and also with respect to rising population in Pakistan. They attribute having Kashmir will resolve some part of the space problem too. So having an extra land. So that's the main
No, not
reason.
really.
Not really, but.
Okay, my request is that if Pakistani position must come from me only and Indian position must come from you only. So no, land is not a problem. Yeah, it's not a problem. Because we have enough of land. It's not that we want nowhere to put more people, so let's kill a few people in order to get land from more people. That's not how things work out. Yeah.
So is this for Pakistan about saving face? Like, I was just looking at the Hofstede Index, and for long-term orientation, it's 0.
It's what?
It's 0. So I'm just trying to see who's going to benefit more from.
Well, again, speaking statistically, it would be a huge commercial benefit for both India and Pakistan if we just abandon this region. India is spending 2.5% of its GDP on military. Pakistan is spending 4% of its GDP. We spend 1% on our education, 4% on our defense in order to save our face in Kashmir. So financially, it would be a lot better if both India and Pakistan just pull out